Anyway, it's 10 o'clock my time. It's 1 o'clock Eastern. Thanks very much for being on the call. Denny Grimes, the mastery of real estate. Also, thanks for your flexibility on time. You know, last time we had to have Wednesday. This is Wednesday. The next class will be on Tuesday. I'll be Zooming in from Alaska. I might be able to give you a decent background, maybe a moose will walk by. It'll be a lot of fun. Sonny Hammermeister, my director of growth, is my co-host today because my other buddy is not going to be able to join us, Jeff. So we're going to get started. And I'm going to share a screen because I'm not in my studio, obviously, so I don't have my display behind me. So I want to share a couple different things. Whoops. Here it is. I ran across something kind of interesting. So is that coming through, Sonny, my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, that's the best email to reach me if you have any questions whatsoever. And if you have not already, please take a moment to go to the YouTube channel, Denny Grimes, the Master of Real Estate, and subscribe. We post everything on there. All these sessions are recorded. And if anyone knows a great video person, what I'm looking for is someone to help me chunk these things down because, you know, we actually go at it for an hour. I'd like them to be in 10 or 15-minute segments, maybe even 8-minute segments, and kind of bite size, and we can kind of categorize them. So if anybody has any people that do that, whether they're on this continent or another continent that are good, just email me. All right. So back to Tuesdays next week. Denny delivers training. Email me if you need me. Now I always start with the thought of the day. So here is my thought. Number one is, do you think there's a finite number of real estate objections? You can type that in the chat box if you want to. Do you think there's an infinite number or a finite number? Just put that in the chat. That would be awesome. And Sonny, I'm not being able to see the chat right now because I'm sharing screen. So if you
I can see it. Nadia says finite.
Yep. Any more?
Finite, Renee. Finite.
Well, that's good news then. Now, theoretically, no, I would say not even theoretically. I think basically there are a finite number of objections, buyers and sellers. Then it's not an infinite number. And then the most common ones you could probably predict. And in the Bold Coach that I've been coaching for the last 4 or 5 years, we always went through like the top 4 or 5: for sale by owner, top seller, top buyer. We can nail down the top 4 or 5. And what's interesting then, if you talk about and think about the 80-20 rule, like we don't have to be able to master every particular thing, like some off the wall objection. Although once you get great at asking questions, it doesn't really matter. Start with the most common ones. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I go online and I Google objections and I'm looking, and there's part of me that wants something new. Guess what? There isn't anything new. So however, when I find something on the internet that I think is kind of cool that would be helpful, then I want to share it with you. And I found this one website, this one publication was giving the top 10, I guess, buyer or seller objections. And here's what I liked about it. And I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share 3 of them with you. There was 10. I'll do some more maybe next week. However, what I liked about it was they gave you some examples of some great questions to ask. And these would be worth copying down or getting your camera out and taking a picture of it, because these are great questions that probably you should have in your repertoire. Like, for example, let's just start with this one for a moment right now. And I'd love to have a conversation with you if anyone can talk. Renee, again, I know you'll have to sign or use smoke signals, okay? So when you have a buyer say this, we're just looking right now, how does it hit you? Is that like, I think that's bad. I don't, or would you think it's a bad thing? Like you think, oh, why does a buyer have to say, why they're just starting looking? Your mind goes down the track that, well, then they're probably not ready. They're probably 18 years away. What goes through your mind, positive or negative, when they give you that objection? You can put it in the chat or just speak. We only have a handful of people here today. So is it positive or negative to you guys?
Hey, Denny, when I hear that, I think of going into like a Best Buy store, and if somebody comes up, an employee comes up to me and says, "Hey, can I help you?" My immediate response is, "No, I'm just looking," even if I'm going in there looking for a certain thing.
Okay, well, let's stick with that example because I think it's really pretty good. Let's say you're working at the Best Buy, and I'm always into electronics. I like big TVs and et cetera, et cetera. So I said, well, I'm in the market. I'm in the market for like one of those new 4Ks, or they have 8K TVs out there right now, and I've just started looking. Now, would you take that as the ideal customer, or I would rather have somebody a little bit further down the process? John, what would you say if you happen to be that TV salesman at Best Buy?
I'd say it's the ideal customer because you have a chance to capture them and find out what it is exactly that they're looking for and kind of curve them into your little gated community, if you would.
Well, I think that's exactly right. And I've run into agents who look at this as a negative instead of a positive. For example, if I say I'm just starting to look, what is the opposite of that? The opposite would be, I have been looking for the last 5 years. Now, which one would you think would be a better customer? I think I might want to have the one that just started looking, because if they've been looking for 5 years and haven't bought, or I've been looking for months and months, you think that they might be a little bit out of whack. So if you have any negative at all with somebody just starts the process, I want you to get rid of it. And here's some of the questions you can ask, which I think are great. Well, you can see those on there. Okay, so that's good to hear. You should look thoroughly before you buy anything. Out of curiosity, what type of home you're looking for? Well, no, that is such a perfect question, because I'm just looking. I just started looking. Oh, what are you looking for? Now you're mirroring and matching, using the same word back to them. And for example, going back to John's idea of me walking in and wanting to buy a big TV, I don't even know what I don't know. And I just started shopping. Well, it sounds like you need somebody to help you. How would you like me to educate you on the TVs? If I'm in the market for that, I'm good, right? So the next one, that's great. Are you looking to purchase a home? Absolutely. Number 3, how many homes have you looked at so far? Well, you just started looking, meaning you probably already looked at something, right? So I'd take a picture of these questions. I understand. How did you find out about this home? What they're looking, well, somehow they found out about that house. Give you some indication. These are great questions, you guys, to begin a conversation. That we're just started looking right now could be something that as you're sitting, or an open house, somebody could say. Now, we did on role play the other day with our team, the conversation of people coming into an open house. And I think we could probably work on that a little bit. There's other objections they seem to be a little bit more comfortable with, yet, and people walking into an open house was a little clunky. Would you agree with that, Sunny? We probably still need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So these are great questions. If they come in open house, well, I just started looking. Okay, well, last one, good idea. What are you looking for? So you just take that as a neutral statement and you move forward. So this guy put together a list of, I guess there's 5 of them there, and I think they're excellent conversation starters. And many times, if you get out of the gate with a great question and start the conversation, things go better. Let's look at the next one. Our relative/friend is a real estate agent. Well, again, this is probably, in most of the ones that I see online, this is in the top 10. All right, probably the number one. Well, what would you guess, you guys? What would you guess would be the number one seller objection on a listing presentation? Any guesses?
Commission?
Yep, it is commission. It is commission. So again, I think that's one you would want to be able to handle. So our friend or relative is a real estate agent. So this is what they came up with. I see. Does that mean you feel obligated to have your friend or relative represent you, or are you just able to freely choose who you want to work with to find your next home? I love that, because, when they say I have a friend or a relative as a real estate agent, our mind may be hearing that's who they're going to use. However, that's a dangerous assumption. Who in this world doesn't have a friend or family member in real estate? We all do. So I love the question. It's just like, well, does that mean you're going to use them, or are you free to use anybody you want? I give that question an A+. That was kind of a, I mean, I was surprised when I read it. I thought, that's a great question. The next one, if you didn't have a friend or a relative in the business, would you be one of the, if you didn't have a friend or relative in a business, you'd be one of the few, right? That's what I just said. Do you know that 90% of the sales in our market are handled by just 10% of the agents? Is your friend in the top 10%? How would you rate that question? Do you like that one? Nice. You can give me a thumbs up or whatever. I can see your faces, which I like to do. Awesome. Last one. I understand. So you're willing to risk your relationship if the job doesn't get done? Or are you looking for an objective professional that you can put to work for you? Now, would you say that that's a little bit more aggressive or a little in your face? Would you, anyone have the level of comfort to use that question on somebody who says I have a friend or family in real estate? Anyway, those are 3 great ones. And
so Denny,
yeah, go ahead.
so I'm just curious, why am I here today? If they have somebody in the relative or friend in the realtor who's a realtor, is there something about them that you're not comfortable with?
Well, okay, now you're assuming you're on an appointment. Let's say that we're let's say you came into an open house and say, oh yeah, do you have I may ask, well, you think about selling your house, and then I might say, well, yeah, I have a friend or a relative in real estate. So take it from that conversation, Mark. Now, if you're at a listing appointment, I think that's a perfect one to ask. Why am I here?
Got it.
All right.
So
do you have any preference, Mark, on any of those questions?
Do I have any comment on those statements above?
Or any preference on them? I mean,
I like the first one.
Yeah. I do too, because what I'm learning from this is this, you guys. I have it written down in my office. I put a sticky note on my credenza so I had to remember it. There's an expectation bias in conversation. It happens in real estate people all the time because we hear the same thing over and over again. And when we first hear it, I have a friend or relative who's a real estate agent. Our mind goes to, at least my mind goes to, oh, that means you must be using them or considering using them. That's expectation bias. That may not even be true. Because no, I'm just making a statement. I have a friend or family in real estate. So anyway, that's why I like these questions, because it takes away that expectation bias and you can go on and handle the objection or the conversation normally. And here's the last one. Wait a minute, did I just do that one? That's 1, 2, 3.
That's right.
That's different though than the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We are just starting to look. I had to look back and say, that sounds like the first one. We are just, all right, I got it. We're just looking right now. We've just started to look. So it's a little bit different, similar. Here are the questions this guy came up with, or gal, I don't know which one. Great. One of the first steps is to make sure you have your financing in order. Have you spoken with a lender yet? Now that is a statement ended with a question. So it qualifies for what I like, question-based scripting. Number 4, the second one. We just started to look. Well, then I'm glad we met now. I like this one. Have you had a real estate agent or a realtor explain the entire home buying process and the current market conditions? That's like going back to the Best Buy situation. Has anyone ever explained to you the 3 most important things you should consider before you buy a 4K TV? That would be an awesome question if I'm in the market. So I like that. And the last one, hey, we just started to look. Well, it's a great time to start. What are you looking for? I think those are great, right to the point, conversation starting questions. And particularly, you should make note of them. Going back to the example, if you happen to be at an open house, that would be another one you would be getting at an open house most likely. So any comments on that, you guys?
One thing about the last one about being too aggressive about, would you risk the relationship with your friend or family? I do it a little less aggressively, and I say something about, do you want your casual friend to know your entire financial everything? That usually, raises an eyebrow.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So now
What's your time frame?
Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say, is there a follow-on question to say, what is your time frame? In other words, are
Okay.
they, to determine, are they in a hurry or are they thinking about within the next year?
Well, why don't you, because you've been on this long enough and you've been in real estate long enough that you can handle this. So let me role play with you and let me be that, I'll be the buyer then, okay? And you ask me what my time frame is.
So Denny, thank you for coming today. And I
Yep.
really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. If there were one thing that would help me to better understand where you are today, what would that be?
I'm assuming you're asking, Mark, where I am in the home search.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I got a big house and bigger than I need. My kids are out, and I'm just thinking maybe it'd be cooler to have something a little tighter and easier to maintain. So
Sure.
where I am is I don't have to move, although going smaller would be kind of nice.
Okay, that's fair. So if you could find the right house today, do you have an idea what the value of your home might be?
Well, I've just kind of started the looking process.
Mm-hmm. So have you had anybody talk with you about the value of your home now?
No, I've only watched on Zillow, really.
Great. What do you think your home might be worth?
Isn't that a guy doing a good job? I mean, I don't want to be ornery with him. Yep. When you role play rationally and not being irrational, it's hard when people are asking logical questions. This is kind of like good. Maybe it's worth 500 or so, I guess.
You suppose there might be worth more than that, Denny?
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah. What would that mean to you if you could get more for your home?
Well, I would think that would be in line with the market. I mean, it's kind of like, a lottery market.
A friend of mine says, do you think the current market is working in your favor or against you at the moment?
I think I heard of that guy. That's kind of like a meat thermometer. I think it's working in my favor, probably, Mark. Why do you ask? I mean, I just came here to look at this house, as your open house. You don't mind if I look at it, do you?
No, I'd love to have you take a look around. I think in today's market, it's in your best interest to have somebody who's advocating to find you the best opportunities and not to direct you into something that's going to work against you. Is that the kind of person you'd like to have helping you?
Well, I guess, yeah, versus somebody that's an axe murderer. Yeah, I think I'd probably like to work with somebody reputable.
Good.
But I have a friend in or a relative that's in real estate.
Great. And have they been showing you homes, Denny?
No, I've only, in fact, I wasn't even intending on coming here. I just saw the open house sign. I'm on my way to Publix. And I thought, well, I'd pop in here. So, so there's that, I have that desire. I just haven't really pulled the trigger and hired anybody yet to help me or get my house on the market or anything.
I understand. And do you think there might be an opportunity to actually net more money for the sale of your home and save on the negotiations on a purchase if you had an experienced agent like me representing you?
Well, I mean, you seem pretty knowledgeable and whatever. I would think a good agent would be better than a bad agent.
Yeah. Tell me something. Is the other agent that are they very active in the business today?
I don't know anything about him. I work out with him. He's part of he's part of a group of guys that work out.
Sure, I understand. Denny, if it meant a savings of $10,000 to $20,000 difference, would that be significant enough for you to hire me?
Okay, so what I'm doing, guys, now you can pop in here. I'm kind of curious at his level of questioning. And do you guys think?
He hasn't walked away yet.
No, I haven't walked away yet. However, any comments on his level of questioning and which way he's going? My blink is, and again, is that you're better off being assumptive. I wanted to use a couple of things we just talked about. I have a feeling, Mark, that you took the path that when I said I have a friend in real estate, that I would be using that friend.
Right, you're right.
And so maybe we would guard ourselves against that, because then you started to build a value pack, your value proposition as if my friend was my competition. And I'm only bringing that up. Did you guys pick up on that? And the reason we want to be careful about that is if we start building a value proposition in an area that we don't need to build one, it's hard to then build it better, you know, on the mound that is important. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
However, the interesting thing about Mark was, how about his level of his tone? He was very, very easy to talk to, kind of laid back, and every question was a great question. So any comment on that? Mark, I think you did a good job. Any other comment? I'm going to shift personalities now just for a second. Somebody else take over as the buyer, and I'll let Mark start from a different position. Now you walk into the open house, take it from a different spot. Who wants to be a buyer? And I don't care. I'll give you 3 or 4 minutes, and you be the type of buyer that you would maybe have had in the past and you really didn't like. Who wants a chance to get even? Come on, being a buyer is easy, you guys. You can do that.
I'll go, Mark. I'll go with Mark.
All right. On time, you got 4 minutes. Go. You walked in the open house.
Mark, you're on mute.
Hey, John, thanks for coming to my open house today. I'm curious, did you find the property from the internet or did you see the sign?
I saw the sign.
Great. Have you been looking for a home in this area for a while?
Not at all.
Oh, what brought you here today?
I was just curious what the neighbor's house looked like.
Yeah. Are you thinking about buying a home?
I haven't really thought about it. Again, I was just kind of curious what the house looked like. I've never been in it.
Got it. Do you live in this neighborhood?
I do, yes.
Yeah. How long have you lived here?
About 7 years.
Great. What do you like best about living in this neighborhood?
Oh, good question. I like how everybody's really friendly.
Yeah. If you had to buy again, would you buy in the same neighborhood?
Geez, I don't know. I really like our house. It fits us perfect right now.
Yeah. Do you know anybody who's thinking about buying a home in this neighborhood?
I don't, but I'd love to have some of my close friends in the neighborhood so they can have our kids play together.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? What would that mean to have a close friend living near you?
Take a little bit of stress off me so the kids can play outside with their friends.
Yeah.
You mind if I just take a look around?
Please take a look around.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your home. You've obviously enjoyed living here for a while. Have you done any improvements to it? I'm curious to know in setting the market value.
Yeah, we put a 2-car garage on a couple of years ago and built the back deck with a pool on the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's obviously increased the value of your home. Have you thought about selling your home?
Well, how much value do you think that brought?
Well, you know, in today's market, we're seeing homes that are actually selling at record highs. And what I'd love to do is get together with you and take a look at your home and see if I can give you a better, precise number.
Yeah, you can just throw me a ballpark number. That's fine.
Great. Well, you know, John, I've learned over the years, especially in a neighborhood like this, that there can be wide differences between one home and the next, based on size, based on the view, based on conditions. So it really would be doing a disservice to you to just throw a number out and be wildly off. So I'd love to get together with you and take a look at your home. When could we do that? Would today at 4 or tomorrow at 6 be better?
Well, you know, Zillow says it's, you know, 459. So, you know, just some kind of ballpark to see what Zillow's accuracy is, I guess, is what I was looking for.
You know, Zillow is become a service that a lot of people have become dependent on. Unfortunately, if you scroll down to the very bottom, go right ahead.
Keep going.
1 minute. Okay. If you scroll down to the bottom of the Zillow and look at the About Us feature, it'll tell you that oftentimes they can be as much as 40% off on value. Now, would that be a service to you, or would you rather have an expert opinion?
Well, according to what Zillow said this house was worth, you know, they were within $6,000.
Yeah. You know, there's a house that has 40 acres in a vineyard that's listed for 700, or the estimate is for 759,000. Do you think that Zillow was on target there?
Hard for me to tell. I'm not in that business. I don't know.
So why don't we do the right thing? You know, it'll only take about 15 minutes for me to come by and take a look at your home, and then I can give you a really valid number.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so we got in less than 4 minutes. There you go. So John, how did you feel? How did you feel on that, John?
Yeah, I felt good. Those are some great questions. Kept things moving along. He was quick to come up with his next question.
Well, yes, that's one thing that was pretty impressive, Mark. Now, again, he had a kind of a smile on his face. It was very, very level, not excitable. Mark, so how do you prepare? I mean, it was kind of rapid fire. I mean, there was not a lot of pause. You didn't have really any pause. So how do you do that? How have you trained yourself to be able to have a question and question and question and question without even seemingly have to think about it?
I think first of all, it's not about me. It's about them. Even though my drive and my focus is on me, if you come across that it's all about me tooting my own horn, that's not going to impress John. And then the next thing is just peeling back the layers of the onion to see which way he goes, to see if he's a buyer, if he has somebody else who's looking, if he's potentially thinking about selling, and then what knowledge does he have about the local market and the current market?
Well, any comments from anyone before we go on to something else? Nice job, Mark. Any comments? You can speak up or chat in the chat if you want to.
Okay, so Denny, so if you happen to be that friend that you work out with, you know, how do I define my position? You know, I'm part of the PTA that, you know, we, you know, our kids have the same teachers and we participate in the same activities. I'm your neighborhood realtor.
Right.
So, you know, now I understand maybe how I lost a listing, because that other PTA mom did not want me to know her business. So she hired somebody else that she didn't know. That really hurt, because I thought that we were close. And I thought that I explained to her. I went and toured her house, and I was really certain she was going with me. So I took it as a stab in the back.
So Nadia, are they staying in the area or are they leaving the area?
So that was a few years ago, but I still remember it as a really good lesson. Yeah, she was staying in the area.
You never did ask her though, why she chose that agent, did you?
She had no good answer, because then she proceeded to avoid me.
She might have been embarrassed. Well, that's interesting. And you guys, here's the thing, is that if you want to learn, sometimes it's a tough call. And you know, when you lose out on a listing or maybe a buyer, it is a tough call. You ought to ask. Sometimes you can do it. Now, it's a little bit delicate, because if they list with someone else and you call them, theoretically, that's not even kosher with a code of ethics, because now you're making a call to someone else that's in another relationship. However, if you're friendly and you go to the PTA meetings, and it's always good to ask if you can, a tough thing. And I found out one time that I didn't get the listing because, and when I called them and said, you know, I'm just kind of curious. I thought the meeting went so great, and I see you're telling me now you're going to list with somebody else. Where did I go wrong? Let me give you two quick examples. One is, they said, well, the other agent came in and seemed to like the house more. What they did, and I said, well, what do you mean? Well, they made a big deal over the pull-out shelves in the kitchen. I mean, I just wanted, like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Now, that's when I started learning, you guys, that I might be in this business too long, or maybe they were a little unrealistic because I didn't do burpees because they had pull-out shelves in the kitchen. However, it was a little bit of a note to self. And this used to be my beef before I flew all the time. For those people that know me, my dad was a pilot. My brother works for the airlines. I grew up around the airport. I love the smell of avgas, and airplanes excite me. And so when I got to fly as a younger person, you know, going back and forth, and even in my early 20s or 30s, I didn't get to fly very often. When I got to do it, it was a treat. And I was a little bit upset that the people that worked on the airline, the flight attendants, didn't treat it like a special occasion because I was excited. And the lesson I learned on that, and I translate into real estate, is they sell a house, they say, every 7 to 10 years. So when they do it, it's kind of a big deal. We sell one every 7 to 10 minutes, 7 to 10 days, who knows what. Let's not forget it's a big deal to them. Yes, it's a major asset. However, let's treat every house like it might be our first one. That was one. The second time, and this is a very interesting story, going back to flying, they say you're a dangerous pilot after you have about 200 hours because you think you're good and you maybe cut corners or you make some assumptions you shouldn't make that makes you dangerous. Well, I went on a presentation and I thought I could just wing it. And you know what? I didn't. And they told me, and I was totally shocked. It was a major sale. And they went with someone else because I got a little bit lazy, or I assumed I was going to get it. Maybe when you get on those winning streaks, you know, you feel like you're just bulletproof. Don't ever start to get that feeling. So anyway, those were good learning lessons for me. So let's go on. And I have another list here, and we can have a couple of these objections. And I found the title of this interesting: the top real estate objections since 2020. I thought, okay, that can be interesting. Maybe we'll find some new ones. So I'm going to share with you the first one, the number one objection since 2020, and it is, can you lower your commission? Now, does it sound like it's any different than what we've had? No, it's the same thing. So we're going to handle that right now, because what's happening, what we're hearing more is that, and I'm seeing this happen even locally, Mark, if you're in Southwest Florida. One of the ways agents are attempting to get listings, because listings are harder to find right now, is that they're lowering their commission. And that is going to put us in kind of the downward spiral, and we won't like the outcome. So let's talk about that. Are you getting commission objections? And we've talked about this before. What if the seller's not going to pay the buyer's fee? Now, I haven't seen that a lot here in Southwest Florida, but I know around California, areas like that, we're seeing it. Kevin, you guys seen that out there in the Bay Area of San Francisco, where they're not paying a co-broke? Are you there?
I have, yeah.
All right.
It's incremental. It does happen.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. Who would like to be a seller? And in this case, I'll probably have two people, and it doesn't matter if it's man or woman, man, it doesn't matter. It's that you own the property together, because many times we're having conversations with a couple, and it is a totally different role play when you're playing chess against two people. Oh, by the way, I just watched Searching for Bobby Fischer. It was an older movie, and it was really good. I like chess movies. So who wants to be a seller that I can role play, and I'll be the agent? And this will be the objection. Okay. I need two people.
I'll be the seller.
Nadia is one. Who's going to be Nadia's partner? Anyone but Renee, because she can't talk.
Yeah, there, Denny.
Al. Okay. So awesome. And again, it might be something different. Now, again, we've never done a couples role play. So you play it any way you want. I don't really care. I'm going to time it here. I'm going to set up for 4 minutes. All right. So are you guys ready to get, thank you for having me over. We just went through, the value of your home. Are you ready to put me to work for you today?
Well, Denny, I think we both appreciate what you had to share. We both think that from what you've explained, you could sell our home, but we are concerned about the commission you want to charge, especially in today's market.
Okay. Now I'm starting. I didn't start it until I heard the objection. All right. So you're talking about your concern now is the commission?
Correct.
And can you define that for me? What are you saying?
Well, what I'm saying is hot as the market is, and what you've explained, houses are going on, or at least half the houses are selling within a week once they hit the market. And in the past, a realtor had to go through a lot of work in promoting the property, advertising the property. And now, like I say, it seems like you put it in MLS and you've got multiple buyers coming to purchase that home.
Oh, I got it. Well, other than the commission, Al and Nadia, is there anything else that's keeping us from moving forward today? There's the
Yeah, we can really use every dollar that we get from the sale of the house. We really cannot afford to pay a commission.
Well, you can't afford to pay a commission. So are you saying, Nadia, that you don't want to pay any commission?
Yes, I think that if we just stick a sign in the front yard, you know, that buyers are going to line up, and we'll just get an attorney to draft the paperwork. I think we can do it ourselves.
Oh, okay. So, so are you planning on then selling the house yourself?
Well, I don't think we can find an agent to work for free. So yeah, Al and I are thinking of doing it ourselves.
Well, Al, let me ask you, you were looking for a break on the fee. Your wife is not wanting really a break on the fee. What was your expectation, Al? What fee were you comfortable paying?
Well, prior to you coming, we have been talking about selling it ourselves. And
It's because you never listen. I did mention that at dinner that I wanted to try and sell it ourselves first.
Well, how would you like it if I could solve this little challenge for you guys? What if I could sell it free? Would you hire
Sell
me?
it. There's no way you would work for free.
What if there was? What if there was? Would it be worth at least exploring that idea?
I think it is.
No, I think there's a trick there somewhere.
Let's just assume for a moment. And you know what? Many times somebody coming to you, there might be a trick, and I really respect the fact that your guard is up. However, if somebody has been in real estate as long as I have and has a reputation like me, I mean, if someone that was an upstanding person in the community and had a lot of experience and well respected, even if it sounded too good to be true, isn't it possible that it could be true?
No, I found out that if something is too good to be true, it usually is too good to be true. I am just a very suspicious person, and I'm wary. And if someone is offering to perform a service for free, I know there's a catch somewhere.
Well, let me ask you this. You seem very cautious. And then when your theory says, you said the buyers are going to line up outside. Now the buyers are basically, are they working on their own behalf? Or are they really sympathetic with your situation?
Well, if they really love the house, I think they will just do everything to get it. And we should be able to handle that ourselves.
I got that. And so a lot of those buyers, particularly the most motivated buyers, are working with real estate agents. Are you planning on cooperating with a real estate agent that brings you a buyer?
No, my train of thought is that if the buyer really wants the house, that they are going to get rid of their agent and work directly with us.
All right, now I stopped that at 4 minutes. Now I've got a great white shark here, and it's going to take me a little while to reel her in. So I'm happy to do this again. When you role play, and this can be difficult, because it can be real. It can be real, and I'm not asking to roll over. However, if you allow me to go, I won't make this a 20-minute role play. However, can you understand why I might need 4 minutes, more than 4 minutes on this? And I may need a marriage counselor for these guys because they're not on the same page as well. So here we go. Are we good? Don't get soft on me, Nadia. Okay, don't get soft on me. Here we go. All right, so I'll start my clock again. So you think the buyers are going to line up without a real estate agent, right?
Oh, especially this white hot market, yes.
So how will you know? How are you pricing your home?
Well, we got an appraisal, and the appraiser came through, looked at it, and then gave us the number that the house will sell for.
And what did that appraisal come in at?
$950,000.
So if you had $950,000 offer today based on the appraised value, you would be happy?
Well, I know that people are going to bid more because I've been looking at the news, reading everything online and the papers, and I know it's a seller's market. There is a bidding war, and so we would put it for a little more than the appraisal and then see what we get.
Okay.
We're
And so
going to
what,
start letting the fish bite.
okay. So what number would you launch it on the market?
975.
975. Okay. So if you had an offer at 975, would you feel comfortable moving forward?
Without including the attorney's fees, yes. So whatever other fees would be on top of the 975 walk away, yes. But I really believe that this would be the top of, I don't think anyone would pay more than that.
I got that. So
Al, what do you think?
No, Nadia's got a point. Where we're relocating, we're going to the West Coast, and houses are very expensive out there, and we need every cent we can get. So, bottom line, we'll work hard and building our investment here, keeping our house looking nice, and we think it's worth top dollar.
well, let me ask you then, if you would be happy at 975 and you're getting your top dollar there, what if the buyer were to pay my fee? Would you then let me bring up my buyer to you?
Oh, absolutely. You're very welcome to bring a qualified buyer.
Okay. And if the buyer would be willing to pay 5% and to pay my fee and you got your 975, you'd be happy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, do you think that exposing it to more buyers is better for you than exposing it to less buyers?
Well, I really think that the first 3 buyers walking through the house are going to submit an offer.
Yeah, but the first 3 buyers might not give you 975. And
And
if,
we will just wait for the next 3 buyers.
okay. So what would it look like if, well, I don't know what the math would be. Let's say that we put, let's say, would it not be the same thing if the buyers pay my fee and you get 975, which you said you're okay with, right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it the same thing as if we put the $50,000 on your asking price? And that $50,000 is coming out of the buyer's pocket when they pay it, right? When they buy your house.
That's right.
So you would allow me, so basically you're going to get your 975 and I'm going to get my compensation, and we're going to be able to expose your home to more people that might help you get stronger offers and maybe even put more than 975 in your pocket. You're getting at least 975 and maybe more, and the buyer's paying my fee. Would something like that work for you?
That would work for us. However, like I said, I'm just a little bit dubious that the house would sell for more than 975. But if you think that you can add your commission on top of that, and the house would sell for that amount, then Al and I can talk about hiring you.
Well, here, how about if I make this, I'll close it out here because now we got to do it before I leave for Alaska in like 3 hours. Okay. So if I were to say, all right, if you don't get 975, that's what you wanted.
Yes.
You don't have to pay me.
Okay.
And then if we get more and over 975 up to X number of percent, then that's the buyer's paying my fee. And if it even goes above that, you get to pocket the extra money. If we make the situation like that, would you move forward with me today?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's stop because I need a break. Talk to me about that, you guys, because I've never dealt with that. And so kind of like Mark, I understand what Mark was saying. If someone's lost and you're giving them the directions to the house, a bunch of directions that don't make sense don't work. You have to take them from where they are and turn by turn, bring them in. So any comments on that? Because that's the first time that I've ever got them pinned down on the number, then took and asked the question, well, if the buyers pay my fee, are you okay with that? And when she said yes, then all I had to do is put it on top of her price. But you can't put it on top of her price till you ask the question first. Well, if the buyers paid my fee, would you do it? So I kind of like that. And give me your blink on it, you guys.
Hey, Danny, I would have asked, well, Nadia, I appreciate the fact that the appraisal came in at 950 or whatever it was, and you don't think a buyer's going to pay you more than 975. How do you know? How do you know they won't?
Were you at the beginning of the conversation, Don? No. Yeah,
No.
we kind of went through that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You logged on. I saw you log on a little bit
You
late.
missed the train.
Yeah, so be on time next time.
I was out knocking doors.
So
Denny-
really good role play, long version of have your cake and eat it too. Yeah, all right. Well, kind of, yes, sort of. So
Did you see the one above that? Can I ask you a question? Do you pick up hitchhikers? Do you intend to let just anyone, and then he didn't finish, but I would assume list your
Through the
house,
door, through the front door.
go through the front door? Okay.
yeah,
Hey,
interesting.
Denny, I got a question. One of the questions I would have asked is when the appraisal was done, right? Because if it was a month ago, you can ask that question. Do you think the market's working in your favor from a month ago or against you? We don't know when the appraisal was done, right?
Here's my thought on that, you guys, and just the way I'm thinking about the chessboard. I don't think the appraisal was an issue. I didn't want to attack her on the fact, what a crazy way to price your home. Because if she is, I know she's undervaluing it if she goes on appraisal, right? However, finding out that I think we can get more than appraisal. And then she said only 975. Do I believe the market's going to go above that? So that's why I chose not that it would have been a wrong thing. I thought there was and Nadia, you can tell me, what you were waiting on to hear is that if they can give you a number that they're happy with and you ask them, so if you walk away at 975, you're happy, you've almost pinned them down. If you don't have that number out of their mouth, it's going to be a little difficult because it might be a little slippery. Nadia, talk to me what's going through your mind.
Waiting to say, you keep mentioning that it's a white hot market, and I do this every day, and we can create a bidding war, and you are going to get your price and my commission. But you did kind of tap on that when you said, if I list your house and I add the 5% commission that my buyers would pay, and anything more, you're going to pocket. So you did touch on that.
The thing that was interesting about Nadia is she was very suspicious of everything. You notice, like, if I could do it for free, I attempted to go down that road, dead end, baby. I had to punt.
Mhm.
I had to find another way around it, right?
Mhm.
And so she had me thinking, and many times that's the way it's going to be. And so let's just try another one like that. Does anybody have something, a request from the crowd? Again, I've got plenty of stuff here to talk about. What are you seeing that you'd like to role play? Maybe you had an appointment or you've got one coming up that you would just like to be able to nail. We've got about 12 minutes. We have time for one or two more really fast.
The door knocking, would you do something like that? Door knocking?
Sure.
Okay, so that's, house went under contract within 3 days for more money, and another one is coming soon in the same neighborhood, but people are very suspicious too. Some of them don't open the doors, and when they do, they stay behind the door. Is how do you get them to open the door and listen to you instead of just, sometimes grabbing the flyer and then shutting the door? Okay, thank you.
All right. Have $100 bill in your hand. No, Now, I say that with a tongue in cheek just a little bit. However, you could have a $20 bill or a $50 bill and it would be worth it, because even if you had to go through 100 doors, what percent of the people are going to be wanting to talk to you? Maybe 10, right? I'm thinking right now, probably in this white hot market, there would be probably 3 times that, 30%. Here's the thing with door knocking, and I can't put my fingers on it right this second because I'm not in my studio. We worked on this from a role play scenario, and we did it at a meeting. What the most important thing I think you can do when you lead generate, whether it be door knocking or making calls, you've got to nail the first sentence or two. Don, you're nodding your head, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The first thing I'd say, first of all, you got to remove the limiting beliefs. I just was knocking doors this morning. I only got the 6 doors in 40 minutes so I could make this call. 5 people answered the door. Yesterday, in an hour, out of 27 doors knocked, 13 people answered the door. They will answer the door. Now, what I have in my hands somewhere, hang on. Here's my door hanger. So I knock on Denny's door. Denny answers the door. Hi, Denny. I'm Don Aldrich, Keller Williams, and I just hand this to them. Here's an update on your neighborhood. Here's what's going on in your neighborhood. 99 out of 100 times they will reach out, Nadia, and they will take it.
No, they do take it. They
Okay.
take my flyer and my card, and then they shut the door. It's like, how do I keep them? It's like, no, we're not selling. We don't know anyone, and it's.
Okay.
I'm in Maryland, so maybe it's, the people are different.
It's not. They're not. They're no different than they are in Florida, or Arizona. And you know what? I have that happen to me as well. But as long as they're shutting the door and they have my information, that's a small victory. But Denny's right. You got to nail the first couple of sentences. Hi, Nadia. Don Aldrich. This is just an update on what's been happening here in Scottsdale Ranch. We just sold a home for $1 million cash in a couple of days. Who else do you know that wants to buy a home in this neighborhood? You got to nail that first 10 seconds or you're toast.
I have a question. So I was wearing my awesome Keller Williams shirt, just for that. So when they peek, they know who is at their door. Do you think it's a mistake to brand yourself?
No, I don't have it on now, but I always wear a KW shirt. I put a KW name badge on, and I have to protect this. I wear a Keller Williams baseball hat. So it's KW all over the place, and they still will do this. Right?
Yeah.
Some people have answered the door, Denny, and they said, "Oh, I thought you were FedEx." No, I'm Don Aldrich at Keller Williams. Because FedEx guys, Amazon guys, they typically have a ball cap on. So put a baseball hat on.
I think I'm going to, because that weekend, I got one maybe lead in like 3 to 4 years. They're thinking of selling when they retire. And everyone else was just, I would hear them behind the door and they wouldn't open. So I would knock again and then, nothing. So it's like, okay.
Something I found helpful that I thought was kind of a non-thing. When I'm door knocking, I don't carry a clipboard with me. I don't have a bag. I don't have anything that makes me look like I'm selling something. I just have a stack of flyers. And so I typically, in my experience, get more people answering the door. And I also think that it's, for me, it's a numbers game. If I knock on 50 doors and I have 5 conversations, that's 10%. That's not too shabby. And beyond that, I've had, if nobody answers the door, I roll it up, stick it in the doorknob. And I've had 2 phone calls come from those flyers. So just food for thought, I guess.
It is a numbers game. Yes, absolutely. Other things we've worked on, little tips, particularly if you're calling or door knocking, and I've worked with my team on this, is like, not only have your first minute or your first sentence or so nailed, don't have a lot of information there that's not important. Hey, listen, we just listed a house on 17325 West Oak Street. Like, do you think they know where that is? The address is probably not even important. So now, and remember, they're attempting to like figure out if you're FedEx and listen to you at the same time. You've got to keep it pretty simple. And Sonny, I don't have it in front of me. Ours was something like, hey, hi, I'm Denny Grimes, Keller Williams. In fact, this was a call. Keller Williams, this was basically, this was an outbound call for someone basically from the internet. And it was like this. This is Denny Grimes, Keller Williams in Southwest Florida. My office let me know you had an interest in a home in Naples, Fort Myers area. And I'm calling to find out if you found that special home yet. I'm leaving out all the details, whatever. I'm locating myself. And there could be better scripts out there. However, we just kind of massage that one because if you say, well, Zillow, you were looking on Zillow at this house over in Oakmont. They don't remember that. They probably looked at 45 different homes and people will tell you they weren't on Zillow. Just get down to the essence of it. Like Mark did in the open house. I mean, hey, it's an awesome, thanks for coming to my open house. It's an awesome day to buy a home today. Are you in the market? Boom. What brings you to the open house today? Well, and then I think John said, well, I want to see what my neighbor's house looks like. And again, when you hear that, that may be true. That does not mean they're not interested in buying a home. Yet a lot of real estate agents will just go ahead and I'll go on a different tangent. Because, oh, I see a nosy neighbor, right? That's expectation bias. Don't go down that road. So again, Don, you do this all the time. So just give us basically your first sentence. All right. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Grimes.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Don Aldrich at Keller Williams. We just sold a home in your neighborhood for over $1 million cash in 2 days. I got lots of leftover buyers, and I just wanted to find out, who do you know in this neighborhood that's thinking of selling their home?
So how'd that sound, you guys? Now, from a homeowner that about $1 million and blah, 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 people are interested in stuff like that. I had a neighbor stop me, and I was in my driveway. My neighbor next door, I would never think they would be selling. The house across the street we have listed, and for a good number. And he said, he looked at the market report he just received from us. He said, that house already pending? What did it sell for? I said, I can't really tell you, but high nines. Oh my, I mean, man, if that's happening, I'm interested in selling. I don't know if my wife is right now. We don't need this big house anymore. I believe you have 3 times the opportunity now to have a conversation with people because of how crazy the market is. I mean, it's kind of like the sellers have won the lottery, yet they don't know what the prize is. They're curious. So,
Okay, I just have a question about the 2 first sentences of Don's. How about if you don't have any buyers? So you just leave that out and you say, and you just say that, this house went pending.
In a different market, right now, you're going to have extra buyers. And
Well,
you have agents that have those buyers. So you're not lying saying we got leftover buyers. But let's say it was 6 years ago, 8 years ago, when our market was awful out here. It was a touchdown dance when you sold the house. Hey, Denny, I just sold a home down the street and wanted to find out who else do you know that might be selling a home even in this market. It's the same sentence.
yeah, you don't get locked down because even if you don't have any buyers, aren't there leftover buyers?
Yes.
Just don't, if you don't want, they're not yours, right?
Right.
Last point I want to make is that we worked on this week with our team. Everyone needs to have a story down pat. For example, okay, this is the one I said now, because knocking on doors, they think the house has to be like on that street or the neighborhood. It could be 13 miles away. Look, just in Fort Myers, one of our team members just had a seller. 2 agents said it would sell at $250, and we listed it for $279, and we got it a full price offer. The seller walked away with $30,000 more. The other one is this. This is the one that I want my team to memorize. And hey Don, hey listen, we just listed a house around the corner from you, and the seller had 32 showings in the first 2 days, 10 offers, 5 of them over asking price. It's awesome. Do you have anyone you happen to know that would love to take advantage of a white hot market right now? I mean, you just got to have your stick down. And, if you think, well, if you're not specific about it, they're not going to believe you. And that one transaction will work no matter what neighborhood you're in, because you're not telling them it's in that neighborhood, right?
You can even say, yeah, I've even said, like, let's say it's 3 streets away and it's not even my listing. I say, hey, Denny, we just sold a home down the street from you or 3 doors over and it's sold for $950,000. I'm not saying I sold it. I said we sold it. It doesn't have to be Keller Williams. We sold it as an industry, right? We're all brothers and sisters. We're all realtors. Hey, so use the words. You're not saying I sold the house. Just say, hey, a house just sold. 3 doors away. A house just sold 5 streets away for $900,000. Who do you know that wants to take advantage of the market? But get that script down.
home just sold, whatever.
A home,
Whatever.
a home.
At
Right.
home.
A variation I use, instead of, it's like a hot word, it gets their attention more than like we sold or I sold. Typically I'll say something. The door knocking I've been doing lately has been for a house that sold over asking. And I said, did you know that your neighbor 3 doors down sold their home for $160,000 over asking? And that usually gets their eyeballs to perk up. And that's actually one of the main things I have on my flyer as well. In 4 days or whatever. And they're like, how many dollars over asking? Because they don't, you know, I'm certainly know what it sold for, but I don't know. That seems to get their attention.
I have a question here from Sephron. Is anybody looking up the homeowners' names before you knock?
Yeah.
No.
Don, do you know who they are?
Yes.
Yeah, I carry it with me.
Okay. So there you go. However, you know what? You don't have to.
Nope.
Because you're just there. Hey, look, you know, it doesn't matter what their names are. And the danger of doing that too is, one, it could take a lot of time. You can overanalyze it. Secondly, you say, oh, is this Mr. Aldridge? No, he doesn't live here anymore. Then where do you go? So, all right, guys. Somebody share an aha or two, and we'll get out of here. Thanks so much for being flexible on a Wednesday. Anybody have an aha? Put it in the chat or speak up, or forever hold your peace.
Do you feel obligated to use your friend or family as an agent? Kaboom, my brain exploded.
Oh, awesome.
It seems so simple, but it was like, oh, duh, you know?
One more.
Yep.
Well, nothing.
Thank you.
I trust that you won't have any white sharks like Nadia giving you a hard time on your listing appointments. That was an excellent role play. And in the words of Hill Street Blues, be careful out there.
Be
Love you, mean it.
careful.
Knuckle bump. Have a great holiday weekend.
Stay healthy. Bye,
Thanks, Danny.
everyone.
This was a super good one. Thank you.